Imagine turning a 1-cent coin into enough money to buy a brand new car or even pay off your debts. This isn't a dream. It's real, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to look for. Let's start with a little background. The 1941 wheat penny was made in the United States just before the country entered World War II. Back then, pennies were made mostly of copper. On the front of the coin, you'll see the face of President Abraham Lincoln. On the back, there are 2 wheat stalks. This is why it's called a wheat penny. The design was simple, but beautiful. And in 1941, the U.S. Mint made hundreds of millions of these coins. So, what makes some of them so valuable? Well, not all of these pennies were made perfectly. A few came out with mistakes, also called errors. And these errors are what make some coins super rare and very valuable to collectors. One of the most famous 1941 errors is called a double die. This means the coin was struck more than once by the machine, causing some of the words and numbers to look doubled. If you look closely, you can see that the letters in Liberty and the phrase, "In God We Trust," look like they have shadows or are printed twice. Even the date, 1941, looks doubled. This isn't damage, it's a real mint error, and coin collectors are willing to pay huge money for it. One of these 1941 double-die pennies, in very good condition, sold at an auction for nearly $97,000. Yes, that's right. $97,000 for a penny. Other examples in slightly lower condition have still sold for $55,000 or $70,000. So if you have an old penny sitting around from 1941, it's worth checking it carefully. You never know what you might have. But that's not the only error to look for. Some 1941 pennies were made off-center. This means the design isn't in the middle of the coin like it's supposed to be. Instead, part of the image or writing is missing, or shifted to one side. These mistakes happen when the coin isn't lined up properly in the press. The more off-center the coin is, the more valuable it can be, especially if the full date is still showing. Some of these coins have sold for $2,000 to $5,000. Another type of error is called a clipped planchet. That's when a piece of the coin is missing, like someone took a little bite out of it. This can happen when the round metal discs used to make the coins are cut incorrectly. If the clip is large and the coin is in good shape, it can be worth hundreds or even over $1,000. Again, these are rare, but they do exist, and collectors love them. There are also coins with cracks or blobs of extra metal called die breaks or cuts. These happen when the metal stamping tool gets worn out or damaged. Sometimes a chunk of the design is missing, or a weird bubble forms on the coin. These errors are usually not as valuable as double dies, but they can still bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how big or clear the error is. Now, you might be wondering how you can tell if you have one of these rare 1941 error pennies. First, you need to check the coin closely. Use a magnifying glass or even a phone camera with zoom. Look at the words on the front of the coin, especially Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1941. If any of these look like they are doubled, you might have a double die error. Also, check if the design is off-center or if any part of the coin looks like it's been clipped or is missing a chunk. Another thing to check is the color and condition of the coin. If the penny still has a bright red shine and no scratches or marks, it could be worth more. Coin grading companies like PCGS and NGC can help you figure out the condition and value. If you think you have a valuable coin, it's a good idea to get it graded. They'll look at the coin under special tools and give it a grade from 1 to 70. A higher number means the coin is in better condition, and a better grade means a higher price. Now, let's talk about what to do if you find a coin that looks like it could be worth a lot. First of all, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually make it lose value. Just leave it the way it is. Then take clear pictures of both sides and zoom in on any errors. You can also post the photos in coin collector groups online to get opinions. If the coin looks promising, send it to a grading service. And if it's a real rare error, you can sell it through an auction house that specializes in coins. Some of the biggest coin auctions have sold 1941 pennies for tens of thousands of dollars. People often throw away or ignore pennies because they think they're not worth anything. But coins like the 1941 wheat penny prove that even the smallest piece of change can be worth a fortune. So don't ignore those old coins in your drawer, or the ones in your change jar. One quick look could change your life. Imagine finding one of these in your house or from your pocket. One tiny penny that turns out to be worth $55,000 or more. That's not just lucky, it's amazing. These coins are part of history, made during a time of big changes in the world. And now, they are like hidden treasures waiting to be found. The best part? You don't need to be an expert to start. Just look, learn, and keep an eye out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're already reaching for that coin jar. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin. I've got more amazing stories and valuable coins to share in future videos, so stay tuned and happy hunting.